A former governor of Lagos State and presidential aspirant on the platform of All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, was conspicuously absent this week at an emergency meeting of the party in Abuja, where key decisions were taken in preparation for his forthcoming presidential primaries. However, Tinubu was one of the first to pick up the presidential nomination form, which price APC pegged at 100 million naira. Many political watchers are already reading a lot into this situation, if not for anything, but for the dissonance value of it. Joining us now to appraise the chances of Tinubu in the light of recent events in the party is Oyalowo Ayobami, spokesperson of Nigeria Diaspora for Asiwaju, a Tinubu support group for the presidency of Nigeria. Good morning, Mr. Oyalowo.
Good morning. Thanks
You're
for having me.
welcome to the studio. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Where are we? A few weeks ago, it looks like it was all Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. But today, what do we have? 15 people. Not just 15 people. We have the vice president, sitting vice president of Nigeria, running to be the president. We have the Honorable Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Chibuike Amechi. Is Asiwaju no longer the candidate to beat?
Well, let me first of all correct something about his not being in a meeting this week. The meeting is not just for everybody. It's actually the National Executive Council of the All Progressive Congress. And that comprises of the sitting president, the vice president, the speaker, and the Senate president, 7 governors, and some categories of people. So he's actually not supposed to be in that meeting. So we need to understand that it's not like he deliberately, he's not a member of the NEC. So people should understand that it is not a general meeting for all APC leaders. It's specifically for specific people. So that was why he was not part of that meeting. So I need to clear that. Now, talking about, we expected that there will be a lot of people to run for the presidency of the APC. I mean, we don't expect that Asiwaju will be the only one. The only thing that we know is that he's the numero uno. He leads while other follows. I mean, this is a man who has been there and has done that. He was a governor in the first set of governors for this when we came back into this Fourth Republic. And he's the only one among all his peers who didn't pick any other office, elective office, since his tenure ended in 2007. And he has still remained the most relevant politician in Nigeria today. So it tells you a lot about this man. He's a juggernaut. He's not in office, yet his name resonates everywhere. When he sneezes, everyone catches cold, because Asiwaju, the Jagaban, is just who he is. The Asiwaju, he leads, others follow.
All right, so you've mentioned numero uno, which honestly, this is political season, so that word is going to be thrown around quite a bit.
Well, I don't think it's been thrown around. This is the reality. He's the numero uno. I mean, that is why he's been the topic of discussion everywhere. I mean, you mentioned 15 people. If I ask Nigerians now, apart from the sitting vice president because of his office, I'm not sure people can remember 4 other people who are contesting in the APC, for instance. So Asiwaju is a numero uno. I mean, this is not something that we want to contest. It is clear, and we are glad that the party is choosing the indirect primaries instead of consensus. That way, everybody will come and show their strength and show what they can offer.
Isn't that still being discussed? Because after that was announced in the media, after the NEC meeting, the publicity secretary of the party and then the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Bagudu, the governor of Kebbi State, said something close to the fact that nothing about zoning and nothing about the mode of
if you look at the electoral act that has just been signed into law,
yes,
there is no room for consensus.
Indeed, there is.
If there is, no, I'm going there. If there must be consensus, it means every aspirant must write officially. I hope you understand that.
Which was what the party did at this convention.
The convention is a different
I know, I'm just saying that it's not as if it's totally new.
The convention is a different ball game. I was a part of the convention. If you follow the actions of what happened, I and a few other group of people, we were the spirit behind the convention holding when it was clear that the former caretaker committee was busy foot dragging, trying to hold on to power until it is time for the primary. So I know clearly what went down there, and I can assure you with all sense of diligence that it's not going to happen this time around. It will not.
What will not?
We will have a proper primaries because we do not want a primaries that can be destroyed by litigation afterwards. We do not want where we win an election officially and then the court will destroy whatever work we have put in place. So I'm sure there will be...
At the party convention, Abi, I'm sure you remember, those who didn't want consensus were allowed to proceed.
Yeah, they were allowed to proceed. I was there. See, look, the president gave us...
You as media.
You were at the media, but you were not an insider. You are not an insider. And the president said something after then that we should stop washing our dirty linens in public. So I'm not going to say anything, but I can assure you that what will happen in the party primaries to pick our presidential candidate will be a proper party primaries that will stand any scrutiny and every test of time.
Direct could be an option too, isn't it?
Yeah, direct is welcome. Indirect is welcome. As long as it is democratic and as long as it is transparent.
You don't think that consensus is democratic?
Well, I just told you that consensus must be signed by everybody.
Yeah, what if they sign?
We have agreed that we don't want consensus.
Who was in the Asiwaju?
Well, most Nigerians in the APC don't want consensus.
No, but we have to speak
on the basis
about the
of
candidates.
What? Yeah.
Well, I don't want to engage in arguing that I know it's going nowhere. Clearly,
but we're engaging you in this. We want to enlighten the public, so it's not an argument per se.
The consensus must stand the scrutiny of transparency. We do not want a consensus that is basically imposed or forced. So we in the Asiwaju camp believe that whatever mode of primaries is adopted at the long run is something that will be able to stand the scrutiny and the test of time. As long as it does that, we're happy with it. Whatever is not forced, whatever is not coerced, is good for us.
The type of indirect primaries that you will prefer, it looks to me like it will be the type that brought in President Buhari in 2015.
That was the most beautiful primaries we've held in Nigeria. I mean, I was there. I was in the committee for, what's the name of this committee again now? I forgot the name, but we actually handled the accreditation committee. Okay. The accreditation committee. It was one of the best primaries any political party has ever
I was going to correct
held.
you that it's better to say one of the best, because the primary election that brought in MK Abiola at that time, if you remember.
They didn't make him president, so you can't use that. They destroyed it. They did a good job with their hand and they used their legs to kick it off.
About the primary
election. They destroyed it, but this one went to the wires.
That's right.
So that is why this is the best, because aside from producing the candidate, it produced the president.
That's right.
And it was not cancelled by any fiat and any...
It was not annulled.
It was not annulled. I mean, I voted in 1993. I was a member of the SDP, and I remember what happened. It was a beautiful primaries, no doubt about it. It was a beautiful primaries, but they didn't let it complete. So it negates the beauty of whatever happened in Jos.
Okay, the delegates are known in the events that it is indirect primaries that the party eventually, adopt. What are the chances of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu? More than
7,800 delegates. Don't worry, I know the number. And I can assure you that the Asiwaju will take nothing less than 4,000 if that happens.
Why do you think so?
Because I know so. I don't have to tell you the strategy. I don't have to tell you why.
No. But why do you think so? That's a very valid question.
The issue is this. Why do I think so?
What's the basis behind all of this?
You said something when you were questioning me the first time. You said, is it no longer Asiwaju than other people? It tells you that he's been the front runner. So before others come, see, if I'm a delegate, somebody has come to me, I've given my word that I'm going to support you. Other people can come, I will not disrespect you and say, get out of my house. Say, welcome, we wish you all the best. You see, they are wishing other people the best. But the commitment has been given to the front runner. So I can tell you without equivocation that Asiwaju has the highest number of delegates today who have given him 100% commitment. And those commitments are non-negotiable commitments. Other people will go there too.
You mean that they are not allowed to change their minds?
Why will you want to change your mind when you have seen the best? Why do you want to change your mind? I mean, they've seen the best. The man has sold his programs to them, and it is not just program of I can do, I will do. It's a program of I have done before, I can do it again. Today, Lagos State has a GDP of number 5 if it was a country in Africa. This is because of this man. Many people can say whatever they want to say about Lagos State. What I was in Lagos State in 1998, before Asiwaju became governor in 1999. If you have a pictorial evidence of what Lagos was then and what Lagos is in terms of physical infrastructure, in terms of perception, Lagos was the dirtiest capital city in Africa before Asiwaju became the governor. We all knew what used to happen in the medians on the road. You pass in, you see heaps of garbage everywhere, stinking. But people don't want to remember this because we forget.
You sound like Buba Marwa did nothing in 3 years.
He did a lot.
He was celebrated.
Clearly, Buba Marwa was celebrated more for ad hoc achievement than something that was more institutional. What Asiwaju did was not just to conclude the good thing that Marwa did, but institutionalized it such that even when he's no longer in power, there was continuity. Today, you can still see it. I mean, if it was an ad hoc thing, the man has left since 2007. We could have reverted back to what it used to be. But today, there is a continuation. There is a blueprint that works. So this is a man who is not coming to say, I will do. He's a man who has done. The blueprint is still available for everybody. If not because we had issues with people like President Olusegun that was fighting and all other things, today, Lagos State will have been sufficient in terms of IPP, that's the independent power generation. We all knew what this man did. So this is a man who had seen what people are now seeing today.
Right, so he has done a lot. And of course, we keep alluding to Lagos State, using that as, as
the blueprint.
Absolutely. But let's talk about his presidential ambition.
Okay.
Do you believe that Bola Tinubu has what it takes to govern a country as complex as Nigeria?
That's a very funny question.
And we need you to please, of course,
okay, and I'll tell you why.
For people who don't know who he is and what he has done,
as a governor, he was the first to make us understand that Lagos is not just cosmopolitan in terms of saying it. He brought it into what we use in local parlance. He showed working. In his cabinet, you have every tribe, every faith, every social table was represented in his cabinet. You have the Igbos, you have everybody. In fact, in his cabinet, I can tell you that maybe not more than half of them were what you would call indigenes. Now, this is a man who has proven from time immemorial, when nobody will do this in their state, that he's a man that can interact with everybody. He sees everyone as a Nigerian first. And if this man can do it in a state like Lagos, it tells you clearly that he can deal with Nigeria in the terms of what you bring into the table, not who you are, not where you're coming from, not your gender, not your race, not your religion, not your tribe. So this is an Asiwaju that has proven that beyond the divide of ethnocentricity that we've had in Nigeria, he has opened up Lagos to be truly, cosmopolitan, such that you can be anybody. As long as you have something to offer, Lagos is home for you. And this is just a state. Now, if this man can translate this same blueprint to the country, you can imagine what it would be like. Now, we have somebody who is doing something similar, almost similar now in Nigeria. That's in Kaduna State, bringing in people from other places who are not necessarily indigenous, but who can contribute to the development of the state. Now, this is something that Asiwaju has done 20-something years ago when nobody was doing it. So it tells you that he sees the future. Most times in Nigeria, no matter what you have done in a state, as long as you are not indigene, in quote, you can't bring in anything. You can't be accepted. Asiwaju has done this since 1999, and I can assure you, Nigeria stands to benefit from his wealth of knowledge, from his large-heartedness, from his cosmopolitan seeing of what Nigerians should be.
And we can't fault you on the notion of what he has done in Lagos. Nobody can fault that. That is completely, you're stating facts. But let's talk about the complexities, because they are different now when you're talking on a national level. And what we really want you to sort of expatiate on is really what are the causes that are closest to his heart. Insecurity is at an all-time high. Unemployment, the economy, infrastructure. What are the causes that are closest to his heart, and how exactly does this administration, proposed administration,
insecurity
seek to address
is something, most of us talk about insecurity, looking at it, we look at nobody is looking at the root, we just look at insecurity. But there is something that is the cause of insecurity that many people are not thinking about. You see, insecurity is like you are sick. The symptom of that sickness is maybe headache. So if you are curing the headache, you must look at what is actually causing the headache. Is it malaria? Is it typhoid? Is it what? Now, what am I saying? Nigeria is bedeviled with insecurity, no doubt about that. President Buhari has tried a lot in terms of equipping the military. He has tried a lot. Now, Asiwaju is going to assemble a team that will look at what exactly is the issue. And some of the issues that I have personally identified is the fact that there was a saying by Papa Oyalowo that said, those children you did not train today will tomorrow make sure that your own children that you train will not have peace. Now, we've had a huge generation of young people that have not been trained, that have not been given economic hope. They didn't go to school. They didn't learn trades. So they were all thrown on the streets to grow up on their own. Now, these are social issues. If we deal with the social issues, we will not completely eliminate insecurity, but we will reduce it to the barest minimum. Social issues in terms of social inequalities that is bedeviling our nation today. Today we have the extremely very wealthy, and then we have the extremely very poor. There must be some social balance. There must be some meeting somewhere. Now, those are issues that will be identified and dealt with, because clearly a generation has been destroyed. They were not trained. They were not schooled. They were not given any economic opportunities. Those are the ones bordering Nigeria today. So over time, we need to identify these as issues and deal with it. And how do you deal with it? Education. Try to redistribute wealth in a way that will empower other people. And the Buhari administration have started to try to do this. I mean, in terms of the social investment program, we just need to expand on it. Because if people don't feel completely excluded from a system, they won't need to carry a gun and kill people that have not offended them in any way. So it is because of the social exclusion. So these are areas that the Bola Tinubu government is already looking at. And there is already a team, as I speak with you, working on ensuring that the social imbalance is dealt with so that we will reduce to the barest minimum. Because you can equip your military as much as you wish. But if you continue to have disgruntled people in your system, and also there are other areas in terms of policing our borders properly that we've not been doing, because the train issue that happened in Kaduna a few weeks back, some of the survivors said something that is key. That yes, they were speaking Fulfude, like Fulani, but not the Nigerian kind of Fulfude. So apparently we have a lot of foreigners who have access into our society because of our porous borders. Those are areas. Now, in terms of infrastructure, the Buhari government have started very well in terms of infrastructure, building trains, building roads, building bridges. All Tinubu needs to do is hold on to the master plan, expand on it. So infrastructure is an issue that we know he dealt with in Lagos. And clearly, having Nigeria as his next port of call, he will deal with this.
Sorry, let me cut in there. I mean, you're speaking so eloquently about what the Buhari administration has achieved and how Tinubu, if he becomes the president, will continue with it.
It will improve, it will even improve on it because of the team is going to
Then a lot of people will say that what we witnessed at the Onikon Stadium last Sunday, where some youths endorsed, had a rally for Asiwaju and endorsed him, does not particularly support what you are saying.
I saw that video. People actually deliberately, they mutilated the video. You didn't hear the first aspect of it. The video that was going around was they deliberately cut where he said something like this about what the Buhari has done and how he's going to improve on it. But people decided to take out that part. And then I know the video you're talking about.
So you are saying
the full video was not what
you are saying. That Asiwaju did not throw any jab at the Buhari.
How will he do that?
You are saying that he didn't
Buhari is his personal friend.
Yes.
He worked assiduously. Okay. Everybody knows that President Buhari today holds his office to the grace of God Almighty and to the help and support of people like Asiwaju. It is a clear fact.
Right, but historically...
So he will not throw him under the bus. I mean, that video, I can tell you, was a longer video. But if you want to be mischievous, it's easy to be very mischievous.
Right.
The mischief was to cut off what he initially said, to bring that side and then make it look like that was
yeah,
where
let's
was
deviate
going?
from the video itself. Historically, it's been known that a lot of, when you change hands, administrations, projects just suffer.
No.
That's
you see,
just
not
something that has
everybody will
happened for
do
a
that.
while.
If you look at the Tinubu blueprint, there has been no such. There are a lot of governors that have come in after him. There's a blueprint. So if the Buhari administration is going, and you must understand that we are under the same party here.
Yeah.
So there is actually no animosity. So if this party is handing over to a man within the same party, a man who actually was the one who envisioned the APC as it were today, why, for God's sake, will he want to throw away the good things that they have done? What he needs to do is look at where they failed, try and ensure that it doesn't fail, and where they've done well, improve upon it. That is the whole plan.
Okay, that's where I was actually coming. And these two questions I'll need you to, because we have less than 4 minutes now.
No problem.
One is to look at his age, he's 70, and his apparent health challenges. And if you look at a litany of, incoherent submissions that he has made lately, people will say that, but you remember it now, tweeting on WhatsApp, revalidating your PVC, recruit 50 million into the army. That's one. I'm saying that people are expressing concern, not because they do not like him as an individual, but because they think that there might be...
okay, let me quickly say this. I understand when you say tweeting on WhatsApp. You see, our older people are not the same as the younger people in terms of our
technological.
So they can easily put these things.
I understand.
But
I'm saying
be that as it may.
Be that as it may.
Yes. Be that as it may. Tinubu is going to be a president who has a team. Before any policy is released into the public, there is always a debate. He's not going to just sit down as the Alpha and Omega and throw policy on.
No president sit down as Alpha and Omega.
But the presidency is a system.
Yes.
The presidency is a system. He's the head of that system.
It's a cabinet. He will have his cabinet.
He will, before any policy is brought to the public, before we begin to have people to consume this policy because we've signed it, it will be debated.
The important question I was going to ask you...
Tinubu will have a team.
Of course, he definitely will. The point I was going to ask you is, he's been governor and he's been the godfather, for so long. Does it look to you like he has the tacit support of the sitting president? And if he does not, do you think that that would be a factor, given how Asiwaju himself has dominated the Lagos political landscape?
Can I tell you something about this?
In a way, if you don't mind, in a way that without his express approval, it is unlikely that anybody will be governor in Lagos. Well, would you think that the possibility of that playing?
No, that possibility cannot play, and I'll tell you why.
It cannot play.
The president has tactically removed his hand for whatever is going to happen. That is why the National Executive Council have handed over their powers for 90 days to the National Working Committee. It tells you clearly that what the president is saying is that everybody answer your father's
This president chose the chairman of the party.
Well, he expressed
the interest of some of the major players.
I don't want to play into the mind of a man that you cannot read his mind. Nobody can read Buhari's mind. President Buhari has proven over time again that it will be foolhardy to second guess him. Yeah. So I will not sit here and pretend to understand what Buhari wants to do. President Buhari cannot be second guessed. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but it will also be foolhardy to second guess that he will not be interested.
No. He already said he has someone in mind that he likes. However, if you remember his last speech, he said he will not force anybody on anybody. Everybody should go and fight for their right to be elected. So for that, we are taking him for his word. Everybody should go fight for the right to be elected. And if you remember in 2019, even though most of the governors worked for him, President Buhari got to places and said, look, people, vote for whoever you want. Yeah. Even though there are governors in his... So this is who Buhari is. He doesn't force his will on anybody. He may have what he wants in his mind, but he understands the fact that the will of the majority must always stand. Because even he... Yeah. Despite the fact that we knew he was the best candidate in 2015,
that's right.
He had to be subjected to the will of the delegates. So this is what
that's democracy. In the event that Asiwaju fails to pick the ticket, do you think that he will still be in the party And
so Asiwaju is a Democrat. People need to understand and respect this man for the things he has done. He said, I have planned for betrayal even before it happens. I have planned for so many negative things before. So Asiwaju is a man that is large-hearted enough to understand that if he loses transparently without being cheated, there's no problem with it. But I can assure you without equivocation that Asiwaju will not lose.
Okay. He said so himself that he has never lost. He
will not lose. I can tell you clearly without equivocation that he will not lose.
All right, then. We want to thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation with us today, Ayobami Oyalowo. If you're just joining us, we've, of course, been engaging with the spokesperson for Nigeria Diaspora for Asiwaju, Ayobami Oyalowo.